Sam Valentino, private toon detective here. I did a bit more investigating of a few others involving Tubi having just added 16 shows and a few related movies from Warner Bros.' animation library, most notably Animaniacs and several Cartoon Network originals. Now, I don't want anyone to panic, but several of these shows are not permanent additions. And at one point, some of them were already set to leave on some date. Again, don't panic, but this is because this is how Tubi works. They regularly rotate their shows and movies all the time. For example, according to the source code for their pages, it was thought codenamed Kids Next Door, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, the Mask animated series, Tasmania, and Yogi's Gang were set to leave on April 1st. And the remaining 8 shows they added on this past Sunday were set to leave on September 1st. But then someone from Tubi confirmed about the April 1st leaving soon thing. There is no cause for alarm. Some of those labels were surfaced prematurely and aren't reflecting of any immediate removals. So there's all the more reason for us to not worry or panic. And of course, this does not have anything to do with David Zaslav or the impending Paramount-Skydance buyout, which still has many legal hurdles to face. And, may I repeat, David Zaslav himself hinted that the deal may not close after all. Many Warner Brothers employees are scared. Warner Brothers gatekeepers are scared. Heh, I've even got a hunch that Zaslav Mug himself must be a little scared as well. Like he didn't think it through when agreeing on the deal, or he was reluctantly forced to. But I've already discussed that earlier this week. I've seen Tubi rotating shows and movies ever since it started up. Several said Warner-owned cartoons they used to stream but are currently unavailable are also on that list of over 100 animated shows Tubi announced they'd be making available soon, meaning they will return as part of this aforementioned rotation. It's too bad they don't currently have Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights available, since they've now got the actual Animaniacs. It will be funny to see both on the same streaming service. Like if Hulu actually streamed that movie during the time they had streaming rights to the original Animaniacs and the original Spielberg and WB shows. But if anything, this Tubi rotation is actually comparable to regular linear television networks rotating their schedules. MeTV Toons is also no stranger to this. Just recently they put Speed Buggy and Help, It's the Hair Bear Bunch on their Sunday afternoon lineup. And their House of Hanna-Barbera block also started including Wacky Races and Dastardly and Muttley and their Flying Machines segments, nearly a year after they last aired as their own standalone shows on MeTV Toons before such a rotation happened. Similarly, unlike Cartoon Network and Boomerang, MeTV Toons rotates all of its Scooby-Doo shows in the same time slots. Right now, after finishing up Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics due to the 2026 Winter Olympics having also wrapped up, they've gone back to running the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You on weekdays, and the hour-long Scooby slot on Saturday mornings is showing the 1972 new Scooby-Doo movie series. Today, MeTV Toons is showing the Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode that was adapted into a YouTube poop on this channel, featuring this. Well, not exactly like this mask anymore, since Ruby's Mask Illusions cheapened their latex mask production by having them now made in China instead of Mexico. Hence the lack of Scooby's dog tag here. Well, at least it doesn't have a slit in the back of the head anymore, similar to in the Scooby episode. But I'm straying away from the original topic of this video again. This example rotating the Scooby shows on MeTV Toons is akin to how the program Exchange would rerun the 1969-78 Scooby shows in syndication. Starting with the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You, then the new Scooby-Doo movies with each episode split into 2-part half-hour shows, then the Scooby-Doo show, which was the umbrella title for the 1976 episodes, originally made for the Scooby-Doo and Dynamite Hour and the Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics block afterward. Not to mention when the first 9 episodes of the 1978 season initially aired as a short-lived Scooby-Doo Where Are You revival attempt. Right now on Tubi, The only Scooby-Doo shows available to watch in a rotation are Scooby-Doo Where Are You?, the Scooby-Doo Show, and What's New Scooby-Doo. All three of those are previously on Tubi around 2023 to 24 before being removed at some point afterward and then being put back on last summer, which proves my point. Those Warner-owned shows just added on Tubi at the start of this month, but set to leave sometime afterward, are just yet another example of Tubi rotating their shows. That's pretty much how FAST-based streaming services work, which stands for Free Ad-Supported Streaming Television. And on social media, I'm now starting to see people who are just tuning into those old shows complain about all the ads and commercials, almost forgetting that's what makes Tubi free. And I do understand that, as I can't stand commercials myself, since they're usually in your face and loud and overstimulating. But generally on my computer browsers, I have ad blocking extensions that are pretty good at blocking them, most of the time. And it's also for safety and security purposes, since some ads can carry viruses and malware. But security aside, I wouldn't be surprised if the viewership for these Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network shows gets pretty high, what the classic Looney Tunes cartoons had on Tubi when they were added over 6 months ago. And that was especially in the light of earlier last year when HBO Max went and purged all the old Looney Tunes shorts to mass panic across the Warner Brothers animation fandom, with several of them forgetting it's because of HBO Max reshifting their focus towards adults. Speaking of which, those Ellison creeps are saying, should the Paramount-Skydance buyout go through, they'll be combining Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Discovery Plus, and their own fast-paced streaming service Pluto into one app. Swell. And that means they'll probably start purging the Nickelodeon-related shows from Paramount Plus even more. But again, there's a good chance that deal may not close, and then we'll be safe. And then also, I'm starting to hear more about physical media starting to get popular again. More and more people on social media becoming aware of how streaming is usually a temporary thing for certain services, coupled with the premium streaming bubble seen to have burst. More and more people are looking forward to buying DVDs and Blu-rays and such. As you probably noticed with that shelf behind me of all those Blu-rays and DVDs and even VHS video cassettes. Someday on this channel, Zach Wolf will probably do a rundown of what's on that shelf. But as such, for now, we should enjoy what Tubi has to offer now instead of worrying about the future with all these great cartoons and more coming in the future. So stay tuned to this channel for any more of my findings or what my other Toon friends do here next.